rub my nose. It doesn't show me active on YouTube. If you were in the Zoom meeting, which I'm the only one, but if you were in the Zoom meeting, you wouldn't have noticed any issue at all. It's the people. It's funny. The YouTube video started with me rubbing my nose. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, thank you to the people watching. I appreciate that. You can drop some comments in there and we can get it going. So we started the initial conversation about Cloudflare and that issue. Any of these service disruptions, and a couple of, I think it was 2 winters ago when Dallas lost power for 3 days, people bought a lot of generators. And so calamity, there's always opportunity there. If you see things coming and if you know there are issues and now like in Central Florida, there's going to be this big void between Kroger and people needing groceries, and Instacart's not going to drive 40 minutes to bring you your groceries. I don't think so. Maybe they will, but I doubt it. I think they're going to probably do a 20-minute radius, and the people in this area aren't going to be served. So if you want to open up a grocery store, if you want to do large deliveries, if you want to collaborate, I think it's a great opportunity. So getting back to vidIQ and their announcement about collaboration, I think it's a great way for two YouTube channels to get together and to transmit to both of their audience. And you see a lot of people on social media, on platforms, they'll get together, they'll do collaborations. But I think YouTube has finally figured out this truly collaborative. In other words, the video goes out to both audiences simultaneously. I think that's genius because the number one question for any YouTuber is how do I grow my audience? How do I grow my subscribers? And there's some debate as to whether subscribers are the thing you should be worried about or not. Um, and I see some more people are joining in and watching. I greatly appreciate that. Feel free to ask some questions. You can ask a question about anything. It's just we have to have some type of generalized topic to talk about. We're talking about the Cloudflare outage, which caused a lot of internet disruptions, which kind of harkened back to the Amazon Web Service, AWS outage that happened earlier this year. I think even some planes couldn't get off the ground because of it. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but it's crazy that in 2025, and this is something that I said a couple of years ago, that things that we're very used to working that have never not worked for at least the last decade now aren't working. So we're getting spotty cell phone service out here. And again, we live pretty remote, and that wasn't happening. Let's say 3 years ago, I wasn't having the issues that I'm having now. So technological problems that we didn't have, we have now. And as a matter of fact, somebody was talking about the space shuttle because I'm not too far away from where SpaceX launches. Towards the end, I think the last couple space shuttle missions, they had to get boosters from a completely different manufacturer, a different company, because we didn't even really possess the manufacturing technology to get a space shuttle out of the atmosphere. So again, I don't want that to sound tragic. That's opportunity. So anytime you hear something bad, something changing, something falling apart, that's opportunity because somebody might be willing to resurrect that service, to pay for that gap in service. Anything good or bad creates a change in behavior. Right now, there was a big article. I was going to have it up for this, and I forgot, to be honest. But there was one saying that restaurants are seeing a huge hit right now. Very, very, as if they don't need more of a hit. They're barely just kind of winding back from the pandemic because the pandemic destroyed a tremendous amount of restaurants, right? It just wiped them out and they never came back. And if you struggled and then still failed because they had tens, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars in bills to catch up with. And now, because of the down economy, people are shifting their behavior from eating out because they can't afford to ordering groceries and cooking at home. So you think to yourself, there are businesses, even if you're not in food service, even if you're not involved anything in cooking, there are still opportunities because of that behavior changing. In my book Scintilla, I talk about not just being competitive, but having companion products and complementary products. Let me pull Eva in because she explains it so much better than I do. Eva, can you explain the difference between competitive products, complementary products?
Absolutely. So the difference comes down to how products relate to each other in the market. Competitive products are those that basically do the same thing and compete for the same customers. For example, two different brands of smartphones are competitive products because they're trying to win over the same buyers who need a phone. Complementary products, on the other hand, are products that go well together and are often used together. Think of a smartphone and a phone case. They're not competing with each other, but one enhances the use of the other. So, in short, competitive products compete for the same need, while complementary products are like a perfect pair that work nicely together.
Thank you, Eva. What about companion products? Compare and contrast companion and complementary products because those are often confused with each other.
You're welcome. And absolutely, it's a good distinction to make. So, complementary and companion products are definitely similar concepts, but there's a subtle difference. Complementary products, like we said, are items that naturally go together because one enhances the use of the other. For example, a printer and printer ink are complementary. You kind of need both to get the full value. Companion products, on the other hand, are items that are often bought together because they're related in use or enjoyment, but one isn't necessarily required for the other. They're more about convenience or lifestyle pairing. Think about something like a beach towel and sunscreen. They're companions because people often buy them together for a day at the beach, but you don't need the towel to use the sunscreen, and vice versa. So, in short, complementary products directly enhance each other's use, while companion products are more about being purchased together for a related purpose or experience.
Thank you, Eva. And we go pretty deep into that in the book Scintilla. So tell me, Eva, since the news has now come out that people are eating out less and less because of the cost of inflation and economic tightening, and more people are buying groceries. So if you didn't want to compete against a local grocer, and you know that the consumer behavior is changing to supermarkets and away from restaurants, what are things that a company could do, or what kind of company could you start that's either a companion or complementary to that behavior change from away from restaurants and towards grocery stores?
Absolutely, that's a great angle to explore. So, if more people are shifting from eating out to cooking at home, there's definitely room for companion or complementary businesses around that trend. For example, you could start a meal kit service that delivers pre-portioned ingredients from the grocery store, making it easier for people to cook at home without having to plan recipes. That's complementary because it enhances the grocery shopping experience. Another idea could be offering cooking classes or virtual tutorials that teach people how to make restaurant-style meals at home, which is a companion service because it pairs nicely with that home cooking shift. Or you could look at specialized grocery delivery focused on unique or gourmet ingredients that local supermarkets might not carry, adding a bit of that restaurant flair to home meals. All of these are ways to complement or accompany the new behavior without directly competing with the grocery store.
Eva stole my thunder because I was going to say, just like during the pandemic, one of the companies that any company that was involved in teaching did really, really well. That was the rise of the podcasters, and then, millionaires that were running podcasts, or people that were running podcasts out of their garage became millionaires. And people started seeking a lot of information, and one of which was tutorials. And there suddenly got this, people got very, very interested in cooking at home. So I think that if you're in that space, if you're in the chef space, or you do like to cook, or you're a gourmet or gourmand and you foodie, now is the if you start now, because see that trend, we talk about trends being shaped like a football, and I apologize, I can't move my left arm, so I'm gonna have to gesticulate with my right arm. So a trend will start slowly like this, and eventually all trends go through that trajectory in shape like a football. So this is the beginning of the trend, and then you can ride it all the way up to the top. Here's where people are becoming millionaires or famous, and then that trend always declines. So right now, if you were to start a YouTube channel at this moment, because I can tell you already, I mentioned this in a video I shot a year ago. So subscribe to the channel and go back and look to the video that I shot called How to Survive What's Coming. It was one of the most viewed, and it was solo. Usually my solo content like this doesn't do very well, to be honest, because I think, I don't know. Anyway, that's a talk for another time. But that video was very popular. One, because I really did go overboard promoting it. I really put it out there. But I made a lot of predictions in that video. And if you go back, you'll see that those things happened. And so I'm obsessed with the future and I'm looking at trends. And even back then, I knew the things that were going to happen now. And there's going to be a lot of behaviors that are going to be similar to the pandemic. If you don't have a lot of money, it's the same thing as if there's a virus out there on the street. People aren't going to, uh, uh-oh, we've got Jack joining the call there. Jack, do you want me to take you off of mute? You can type in the chat there if you want to let me know if you want to join us. You can unmute if you want, Jack. Yeah. And for those on YouTube, if you want to write something in the chat, I'm monitoring both. Uh, but thanks for joining, Jack. Jack's a friend of mine on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So, hey, Jack, go ahead.
Oh, no, no. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Sorry, I gotta just trim down this thing here. Yeah, I've been into the AI stuff for a while, but I kind of see the trends and how they're going and how it applies to business. And you're over there in what, on the East Coast, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm about an hour south of Orlando.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in SoCal, and it's odd business out here too because it's pretty tight.
Yeah, how do you guys do it? Because the cost of living out there, Jack, is just it's crushing. I mean, and I know a lot of most of the people I know that are in Southern California, like you, they're
Hmm.
working two or three jobs, and there's no shame in this. There's a lot of what do we call it? Multi-generational households. So my grandma might be in the house, mom and dad might be in the house, the
Hmm.
adult child is in the house. And there's no shame on that. As a matter of fact,
Right.
Americans are one of the only cultures that seem to shame that behavior, but
Yeah.
economically, I think it's brilliant. So I'm sorry, I'll let you riff on that, Jack.
No, no, no. I come from Asia, so that's just part of the whole thing. And I took care of my mom while she had cancer. Then she passed away. My dad had a stroke, so I take care of him. And we just go to Costco. We don't eat that much, and I do video production, so I just work when I want to, pretty
That's
much.
great. That's right.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel comfortable talking about how you get your clients? Because when I was well, I'm still technically doing the podcast because I'm doing it now. But when
Hmm.
I do those interview shows, people are the audience are so interested in learning how do people monetize themselves. In other words, not
Hmm.
necessarily how they get started, but how are people getting clients? Now, I assume LA is it's
Competitive.
even
Yeah.
even more who you know, right?
Hmm.
Or let me know how that works out there.
Yeah. I'm kind of transitioning away from because of the woke culture. And I did corporate life for a long time. I made good money in it, and then I kind of got out of it. I got into golf, and that's where I lived on a driving range, so I was able to just hone my video skills and then play golf. And so I just network through golfing too, because you have to have a decent golf game out here. There's a golf course in everybody's backyard. But so I just go into a place and say, hey, I can make you a video menu. I can make you a any one of those ads those ads that come into your neighborhood and stuff like that. I just go call them. I just go to their place and say, hey, scan this code and there's a video right there. And if you'd like that, instead of wasting your money on just a static ad, you can turn it into a live video.
That's great. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jack. I call that guerrilla marketing, where you're out in the
Hmm.
streets. It's guerrilla marketing, which you don't hear that very much anymore because now everything's social media. So you hear people say
Hmm. Yep.
organic marketing, which just means you're not spending money. But I'm from the era of guerrilla marketing. So
Hmm.
if somebody literally dresses up in a gorilla suit and goes out
Hmm.
and has a sign in front of a restaurant and say, "Come eat lunch, 9.99." That's even though you are wearing a gorilla suit, that's guerrilla marketing because technically it's not traditional. You're not paying for ads, you're not paying for marketing. And
Right.
although I don't consider myself I couldn't do cold calls. I think even if I was starving, I don't think I could pick up the phone and do cold calls. But I
Mm.
have been able to walk in when I'm part of a particular community. Now, I'll give you an example. So, first of all, kudos to you because I think that's very brave for you to walk in cold like that. I
Hmm.
was able to only do that if I was part of an in group. And what I mean by that, Jack, when I had a art gallery,
Hmm.
I would go to other art galleries and other art shows, and I would just bump into artists and,
Hmm.
what kind of art are you doing? Oh, you're a oil painter. Okay, we feature. So I would not steal artists from other galleries because
Yeah.
sometimes they were customers. They were in there. Some people just there to enjoy the wine and the
Hmm.
chocolates. But I would try to get them in,
Hmm.
look at their artwork and see if it was a fit. The business that I had before that is I had a recording studio, and unfortunately, art gallery owners and recording studio owners are usually tough people. They're not very personable, and
Tell me
I wish
about it.
wish I'd been out there in LA. I would have gone to the Whiskey a Go Go and all that great scene. But what I
Yeah.
did, I was in San Antonio, and I would go bar to bar to bar. And if a
Hmm.
band was really good, and I thought I like their vibe, I like how they are. If they didn't get too drunk and messed up and weren't too sloppy, I would approach
Hmm.
them, say, "Hey, do you guys have a demo?" So I
Hmm.
almost used your method where I'm walking in, but I don't think I could walk into a business where I didn't already have a relationship or I wasn't already part of that group. So you've you've
Hmm.
you've got bigger stones than I do because I
Well,
don't think
because
I.
it's just because I did cold calling. I'm really good on the phone, especially with dead leads. People screaming, drop dead, I want you dead. And I go, great, let me fax you a picture of myself and you could start throwing darts at it. A- And then, go from there.
Love it.
And that, because you're basically there to save a drowning person. Okay. If you have knowledge on something, my confidence level is SpaceX. It's not that I'm cocky. It's just that I'm there to save them. No is not a no, it's a maybe. It's a maybe, maybe not now, maybe later. It's never a no because if they do need the service at all, they're not going to need it right now. I get it, but maybe in the future. So I do chamber mixers, city events, and I film fast, I edit fast, and so I can get into Paramount Studios, Sony, VH1, Universal, or I can go down to San Diego and film down there by the pier. And I go, if you ever want to get in with rich people, just go down to the docks. There's a bar down there, and just buy the most expensive guy, the guy with the biggest yacht. Buy him a big bottle, and you'll get right on the party boat. You
Wow.
know? Yeah.
And what are you seeing now in the LA scene and I know there's got to be very, very deep fear, particularly of course I'm talking about mainly the actors and actresses. What is the fear level as far as
Uh,
what's happening with AI?
they're all cocky. They're all cocky. They think they're number one. They're the unicorn, all that stuff. And I'm just like, you ain't no Robert Shaw. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he
You're not Clint Eastwood. You don't even have a charisma. And I'm over there making I film models too. They're like, hey, you know those girls? I said, no, but I'll get right in there. It's
how
because I just my attitude, I'm not like I said, it's not cockiness. It's just like, hey, let me take some pictures. But now I film with 360 cameras. So I have
oh,
two 360 cameras. Now those are harder to edit, but filming is very clean and tight. The setup is quick. I got a couple of LED lights. I got good audio. And then if I need a green screen, I'll do that on a Premiere red carpet or something like that. And I lug 300 pounds of equipment with me to an event and I just show up and I start setting it up and they're like, who are you? I go, don't worry about that. I don't even know them.
well, that's
I
one
don't
good
even,
thing. You bring up a good point, Jack. Something I didn't understand
yeah,
until I had the gallery, and then I started to see it a little bit the same way on a podcast. And I'll give you an
yeah.
example. If I was to call you, if I called you, Jack, and I said, Jack,
Mm-hmm,
hey, I understand you're a videographer out there in LA. I'd like to ask you
mm-hmm,
some questions. Now, you seem like the kind of guy you might be receptive to that, but there's a lot of people that would just hang up on me. But if I said, "Hey, I'm Robert Gaines. I have a gallery," and believe me, I didn't open it for those reasons. I didn't
mm-hmm,
understand the power of that until later. I was very, I was extremely socially awkward even when I owned the gallery. But I
mm-hmm,
started to understand the power of venue, and then same thing with the podcast. I got some guests on that
mm-hmm,
I didn't think were ever going to answer my emails. I mean, I had Chris
mm-hmm.
Weiss. He's a big deal. He's got a major publish. He was published through a major publisher. Him and his co the guy from oh man, I'm drawing a I'm drawing a
Yeah.
terrible blank. But he was part of those raids that took down the Cali cartel, and
Oh, wow.
his character was featured in Narcos. They actually hired an actor to play
Mm-hmm,
him and I got him on the podcast. Now, of course,
mm-hmm.
that's not a shoe out in LA because you go to gas up your car and you probably bump
Yeah.
into 10 Academy Award winners. But out
Yeah.
here, in the middle of nowhere in Central Florida, but the fact that I had a microphone and a camera,
Hmm.
somebody was willing to pick up my email and take a
Hmm.
chance on it.
Yeah.
And look, I get it. When people look at my podcast, they might say, okay, the video looks professional, the audio looks professional, but
Hmm.
look at it, subscribers. As of today, I've got 171 subscribers. So I actually pitched Julia Roberts'
Hmm.
brother,
Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts.
Yeah, I
And
know
I
him. I got in a fight with him too. I
get
got in a
at it.
fight with him on set.
No way. Wait a minute.
Yes,
You
he's so
gotta tell us about
cocky. He's so cocky. I put him in his place though, and he didn't like that, and then he did like it. Yeah, he loved it, and I talked to the other guys that know him because I've been on like 3 movie sets with him. I've been in 2 movies with him. And I just said, hey, I said, look, you think you're going to tell me how to operate my equipment? I said, get out of here with that. He thought it was
That's funny.
funny.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
seems he seems
he's cool.
like a tough figure. I had just finished his he did a book and an audiobook at the same time, an
Yeah.
autobiography. I finished it. I really enjoyed it.
Hmm.
He wasn't the guy I necessarily thought he was, and I really liked his like a lot of Hollywood guys, and I read Al Pacino's autobiography too. They don't really dish on some details that I think they should, but
Hmm.
he was pretty honest. He was honest about his drug use, and
Yeah.
he mentioned other things because I really want to know kind of that. I want to know that darker part of the story because
Hmm.
not that I have a fascination with that, but I know he particularly went through a lot of challenges, and that was part of the
Yeah,
story.
what I do, I'm a big fan of films. So when I deal with an actor, I make sure I watch all their films and I dig deep into their films, whatever it is. And then I go, you did something in this portion of the film. Why did you do that? Did the director tell you to do it or did you do it? And they seem to like that because it's very observant. And I dealt with Richard Tyson. He was in Kindergarten Cop. He's a good friend of mine. And then Pete Koch. He played the Swede in Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood. And I got him to over 1 million views on his YouTube channel. He liked that.
And
Yeah.
he's still in shape. I mean, he looks like,
Oh,
for
huge.
people that
He's huge.
remember Heartbreak Ridge, he was the biggest guy in the
The
show. He was a
Swede.
Swede. He came in look like a WWF wrestler.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. He looks like Brock Lesnar. Everybody says he
yes,
looks like him
yes,
back
yes.
in the day. Yeah,
The
him and Don Fry, also Don Fry, the Predator, when
oh
UFC was big and all that for him. And he's a massive guy. His fists are as big as my knees. His fists
Don
are
Fry's a
huge.
monster. I've watched a lot of Don Fry.
Oh yeah, he's a destroyer. He still
ah,
is. He still
yeah,
is.
I wouldn't mess with him. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Mm-mm.
There's no way. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
very kind though, and he's funny though. He's really funny. I mean, candid. He don't hold nothing back. He's old school, classic. He doesn't hold nothing. The one of the very first interviews I did was with Don Wells. Do you know who Don Wells is?
Don Wells. No, I don't know offhand. I wish I
Remember
was like,
Gilligan's Island?
yeah, oh, for sure. I grew up.
Marianne. That was
No
Marianne.
way.
Yeah.
No
So I
way.
go to the I it's she we said, well, we're going to interview you, right? Is that okay? She said, yeah. Well, we send a limo, and I want Mai Tais there. Okay. But she drank 6 Mai Tais, and
Unreal.
she was fine. She was absolutely perfect. So they go, you're the youngest guy here. You need to put her on that boat. And I'm going, what? I never even said hello to her. And then she just kind of looks up at me, and I'm on the boat and it's rocking like crazy at the Long Beach Pier with the Queen Mary out there. And so I pick her up, right? And she's kind of light, but she was like 70 something.
Oh.
Anyway, I pick her up and her back cracks like a deck of cards. And I hear this brrrt, right? Just like like
You
pinochle
killed
shuffling.
Marion.
Yeah. And I'm nervous because I'm starstruck. I watched all of, Gilligan's Island. I grew up with that. So I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I killed you. And then she grabs a hold of me and I put her on the boat and she just gives me a nice tight hug. She goes, I don't know where you're headed, but can you call in sick?
I love it. And I was the Marianne fan. She was the
Yes.
one, and I
Ginger or
forget the other one.
Marianne, you got to take your pick.
Yeah, yeah. I was definitely in the Marianne camp. And also too, and even though she was a little bit before my time, Annette Funicello, I thought she
Yeah.
was she
Yeah.
was gorgeous. I mean, just
Very
amazing.
much so. Yeah.
We went,
Yeah, that.
I think the culture kind of went in a blonde direction for
Hmm.
many after that. You know, Marilyn Monroe going back was
Yeah,
gorgeous. And then Mae West, I really
yeah,
liked her. She had a lot of power and a lot of energy. And since you're into
yeah,
film, I'll throw this out to you, Jack.
yeah.
Something that I like about British actresses is if you notice British films give the female actresses more lines. So
Hmm.
the female actresses in England tend to seem to exude a lot more power because they're on camera
Hmm.
more often, they're delivering lines, whereas
Yeah.
it seems like in American cinema, the woman is there to say a couple of words and have some emotional reaction. So I don't think that's why we just don't have the flavor of some of those great European films. I don't know. Am I off base there, Jack?
No, no, cultured is the thing, I mean, that's why Monty Python was so big, in the back in the day. It just was Benny Hill and all that because they just had an odd sense of humor. And they're classically trained though. They're all classically trained in delivering their lines. They actually believe that they were royalty if they were playing that. So they once they get that taste of that kind of thing, and movies have changed so deeply because they used to have radio people that would write radio shows, like The Shadow and some other stuff on the radio. And those writers eventually they were doing black and whites, but they were eventually kind of did some TV shows and movies. And then it all just kind of went away into this new weird world of whatever. And so now you have all this woke crap, and I can't stand it. I can't understand it. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense.
Well, Jack, how are you able, of course, I was in the military for 8 years, and so I
Hmm.
think people from my podcast can kind of tell. Really, I don't say this on camera very often, but actually
Hmm.
I'm more of a libertarian flavor, which
Hmm.
so I have issues with both sides. There, things that I'd like to change. But with you having your leaning right in Southern California, do you find it hard to express yourself? Do you have to be careful? Because
No.
you seem like you're like in the epicenter of one of the, furthest
Oh,
left
it's
areas.
extremely liberal, but the thing is, I play it so well on both sides that they can't tell anyway. You
That's
know,
great. Yeah, you
they
have to
can't.
code switch to survive. I mean, you can't.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a little
if
bit of
you're
both because I joke around so much, but I'm also very serious at the same time. I want to make sure I take care. I'm a server at heart. I love to serve. Lived in Okinawa for 10 years, mainland Japan for a couple, Taiwan for a couple, Philippines for a couple, so I've been all over Asia and even South Korea too. And you come over here to the States, and all the women acted, all the females acted very aggressive, and they all kind of sounded like almost like gay men.
oh, that's
Very dominant and aggressive. And I was like, they're not feminine at all. I'm used to the Japanese girls; they don't really say anything.
well, what do you
They don't
think as
say that
far
much.
as with your cost of living, Jack, in Southern
Yeah,
California? Do you have any desire? And of course, you're still taking care of one of your parents, is that correct?
yeah, I
Okay.
am. Yes, sir.
And I hope they have a very, long, healthy life, but
Yeah,
when that day comes when you are on your own,
yeah.
do you think stay in the US, or do you want to, because I know a lot of the reason why I'm bringing this up, Jack,
Hmm.
is, my intention is to leave the country. I've been talking about that very openly for a while, just because the cost of living, not for political reasons at all. It's the
Yeah,
cost of living. I'm being priced
yeah.
out. And I'm in a very, very reasonable area of Florida, but I still
Mm,
think if looking long term, looking at what this is going to look like 10 years from now, I think
yeah.
it's going to be better potentially to be somewhere else. So do you see your future in California forever, or do you fold?
No.
What do you think?
In Thailand, I have friends in Thailand, and it's nice over there. Their money goes three times as far over there.
Now, Thailand's
So,
a big place, Jack. So, and
yeah.
and I've never been there, but I've read a lot about it. So, what do you have a city in mind that you're looking
Oh,
at?
just Bangkok. My buddy lives in
Oh,
Bangkok.
nice.
He's got two homes and a roadside cafe, and I've used to run businesses. So he says, I just need you to help me when I leave. When I leave, I need you to help me run the cafe. He says, you can do that. I said, yeah, I could do that. No
I love
problem.
I love
Yeah.
it. No, I like that idea. So, do you think you would do any videography there as
Hmm.
well, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then, as I have people that ask me online, they go, "Well, if you were to open up because I cook too. I cook Asian food, like fried rice, it doesn't matter, steak, chicken, pork. Um, shrimp, fried rice is pretty good. And then I cook wontons and French fries. So I got those three things because they're easy, quick and easy. You just, and if, as long as it's tasty and you price it right, you could sell anywhere. I mean, here in Southern California, you could just set up. I have a Prius, so I could just throw everything in there and just take out the deep fryer, get the lights on there, put the easy up on there, and start cooking it up, and then sell it until I leave. Make $1,000 and then
Wow.
take off. You know,
That was
because I
something
know
that's
how to cook. But if I was to open up a restaurant or have food in Asia, it would be hamburgers, hot dogs, corn dogs, like the American flavored food, you
yeah,
know.
I bet you they like having something different there. Although the
Yeah.
Thai, we've had where I'm from originally, Louisville, Kentucky. We
Yep.
have some good Thai
Oh, they
restaurants.
have great food, but see, when I lived in Okinawa, I'm a hunter at heart. I spear fish. I get crabs, snails, whatever. I can eat almost any Asian seafood. So I said, well, how far away from the beach? And he says, oh, about 20, 30 minutes away. I go, perfect. I get my spear, my knife. I go out,
Now,
get
do you
some
have to
dinner.
free dive to do that, Jack? Do you have to
Yeah,
get?
snorkel, just straight up snorkeling. Yeah.
Now, I would love to do. I'm a hardcore fisherman, freshwater here.
Hmm.
I would be more of a saltwater. Excuse me. I would be more of a saltwater fisherman because even here in Florida, we have
Hmm.
lobster. We have, they get the tickle sticks out here and they get the lobsters, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
great food. We even have scallops not too
Oh,
far
yeah.
from the
Oh,
freshwater of
beautiful.
Florida. Now, the problem is, though, Jack, I can swim. In other words,
Yep.
I can move my arms and legs and move forward, but I'm negatively buoyant. So if I go into
Hmm.
the water, I just start sinking. I'm part of that
Hmm.
small percentage that, so I can't free dive because I have, I don't know what it is about my physical construction, but,
Mm.
uh, but yeah, I can't, so I couldn't get the scuba diving tank, couldn't pass my PADI test because I
No.
can't tread water because like I guarantee you can take in a deep breath, lay flat on your back, and you float like a cork on the water. I don't. I go
Hmm.
straight.
Wow.
So, but I would love to do what you do. I've always thought
Yeah.
about spearfishing, just diving down 10, 15, 20 feet, snatching
Yeah.
something up. I love the thought of that. It's got to be a
What
blast.
what you do is what I did, because I used to get cramps because the current sometimes is too much. So I get a nice big rock. I get an inflatable raft, right? You can just carry it, fold it up, and carry it with you, and just put your rock there as an anchor, and then you can leave it there when you're done. But then the rest of the catch goes in a little net bag, and so it could just stay alive, until you take it back. And yeah, I've speared everything, everything. And
I,
sometimes I just eat it raw right on the beach. I'll just go make fire by hand. I used to do that. And people are like, "Oh, you can make fire by hand?" I go, "Can't you?" Nope,
that's yeah, not a
they
lot.
can't.
I don't think there's a lot of self-sufficient people in Southern California. Now, here where I'm at, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'm out in the country, brother. I mean, people,
yeah,
people have bows and arrows and
yep,
spearfish. Yeah,
yep,
if something was to happen to people in this area, they're going to be fine.
yeah,
And a matter of
yeah.
fact, where I'm at, I'm surrounded by wildlife management areas on
Oh,
all
wow,
sides. So
wow.
in 10 minutes in any direction on the compass.
Uh,
And I'm on Lake Marion. And so I think it's a either 5 or 10,000 acre lake, and it's known
wow.
for crappie, which is, in my humble opinion, one of the best tasting
Oh,
freshwater. I'm a bass guy, so I'm a sport fisherman. I always put the fish back. But if
oh
you want to
yeah.
eat right here, the crappie is. We have 2 times a year
Mm,
come from all over the U.S. to fish down.
nice.
Now there was
Yeah,
something
and
else.
there's
Oh,
some
sorry. Go
people
ahead.
that do lionfish hunting, and all their
Oh
channel is
yeah,
spearfish, lionfish, and then they just take 200 lionfish, and they sell whatever they don't sell to the restaurants. They just take home and eat.
that's right. I was in a
Yeah,
restaurant in Tampa. Somebody
yeah,
ordered the lionfish, didn't
yeah,
want when they saw it because it came
yeah.
out with the spines and everything. And
Oh yeah,
I raised my hand. I told the waiter, I said, bring it over here. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
ate it. I thought it was delicious. I mean, they had a lot of sauces and things on it. So I
It's
don't
a
know what.
white fish. It's really clean. The flavor is not oily like mackerel or anything like that. It's just straight clean white fish, basically. And so I mean, but just that there's a channel just dedicated to hunt, and there's no limit. in Florida. There's no limit at all on lionfish. Not
That's
as
right.
much as you
Invasive. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing with green iguana, which the
hmm
tail is terrific. I've hunted and I've cooked
hmm
it myself. I can tell you the green iguana, which it's funny because Nicaragua's trying to, their population is almost gone and
mm,
it's invasive here. So we're trying to get rid of them and Nicaragua's trying
yeah.
to bring, uh,
Yeah, and I mean, and it's not uncommon in Asia to eat insects too, which I have no
Mhm.
problem doing it. But here, everyone's like, "What?" I go, "Yeah, yeah, it's not uncommon over there."
Yeah. Yeah. You
But
mentioned Thailand, they have the fried tarantula. I'd try
mhm.
that at least
I'm
once.
not into that so much. I'd rather just turn it into a patty and grind it up or something like. I don't want to see legs or
I don't want,
eyelashes.
I don't want to look at me.
Yeah, I don't need to make a fur coat out of something I'm about to eat. And especially if it's an insect with fangs. But the insects are big over there, centipedes, cockroaches, there's big things. But I'm like, we were talking about business wise, I'm very aggressive when it comes to it if I'm in the zone, but for the most part, I just kind of, I could go do it. And shoot, I didn't even know a guy that knows Elon Musk. And I said, well, I can't wait to go meet him,
Right, right. I'm
you
sure
know.
he spent some time out there. Now when we're talking about the cost of living, because you said you're aggressive, and I'm thinking, well, to live out there, to survive, not to survive, but to thrive, to have
Well, I don't commute. I don't hobnob. I got a couple of suits if I decide to go to a chamber meeting and but I got long hair now just so I could fit in with all the hippies. I just tie it up. But if I go to a meeting, clean myself up, and I just carry the cameras around, people, what is that? They don't even know what the camera is because it doesn't look like a camera.
now that's the 3D camera you're talking about.
Yeah, the 360 camera, it's
Okay.
just, it could see because it films in every direction, but when I edit, I can pick wherever I want it to the edit frame to go.
Now
And
let
it's
me
all
guess, that sucks up massive amount of memory. How big of a
yeah.
memory card are you using? Really? No?
No, yeah, it t 256, I think, somewhere in there.
And that's
Um
4K or
yeah,
what
4 to
resolution?
8K depending on what I set it at, but 4 to 8K depending on the lighting and stuff and how much I want to do, but I bring my own lighting, I got all my own batteries. I just got a bunch of fog machines. So in case I see a couple of girls that want to just really hang out, I go, let me just dazzle you up here with some fog. They'll they'll pose. They'll pose. They like that.
I
Because
saw
every girl gets
something.
dressed up when they go out and they just want a little glamour.
Sure,
And
sure.
but see, the thing is, like right now, I'm preparing to before I leave for Thailand. If I do that, I'm going to make about 6 movies, but I'm going to be making them all at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So
Man,
no,
oh,
I mean most people won't. That's too big, right? People, oh, that's too crazy. It's not for me because the movies themselves. So when I make a movie, it's going to pay like all the locations I pick. I just say, hey, have you ever been in a movie? That's my opening line to the owner, right? No, have you got nieces, nephews, sons, daughters? Do you guys want to be in a movie? And so I'm making a 1980s classic horror style movie, right? But it only involves some monsters, but mostly cooking. It's a
oh,
cooking horror show. It's because everybody has a family recipe. So I would say that same thing to you. I'd go, "Hey, do you have a family recipe?" And you'd go, "Oh yeah, I got, grandma's da da da, what grandpa's da 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 or mom and dad's whatever." Right? And I go, "Okay, well you can be in the movie." So now I got you, right? Now I've got over 100 people, 100 families that want to be involved in this. So what do I do next? I go to any business that I see out there and say, "Hey, we need locations for this monster movie, and we'd like to bring some families in here, but we're going to do a scavenger hunt at the same time." And they're like, scavenger hunt? What's that? Well, people show up and they got to order something, but once they order it, they scan a code, right? Like at the table or something. And when they scan it, it says you get to go to 2 different places. And when you go to these places, you got to make a video. If you make the videos and they're good enough, we'll put you in the movie, right?
oh, that's how you're able to do
Yeah,
multiple. I
yeah. So
gotcha.
I can make 10 movies at the same time. But at the same time, I got to double that because I'm making documentaries on top of it all. So I have 6 cameras filming all at once. So some of it's for the documentary of like how we made the movie, and then the other half is the actual movie. So it's
Speaking,
actually double the movies. It's double them.
it reminds me of something. Did
Mhm.
you ever see the documentary called Overnight, which was about the making of the movie Boondock Saints?
No, I've heard of it, but no, I haven't seen that.
Oh man, that
Hmm.
I mean, I like documentaries anyway, and I
Yeah.
love the movie The Boondock Saints, but that guy,
Mm.
yeah, as you're in the industry, and it's very much an industry film because
Hmm.
I think Joel Silverman is figured into it pretty strongly.
Hmm.
Harvey Weinstein is in it.
Okay.
Unknowingly, they're shooting him from a distance. So it's called Overnight.
Mm.
It blew me away. I think Jack, watch it and then we'll discuss. But
Okay.
I'm going to start the wrap up. But I did
All
want to
righty.
tell you just to go over a couple of things real quick.
Yep.
I mentioned earlier that vidIQ on LinkedIn announced today that
Hmm.
not that they announced it, but they announced their awareness of the collaboration button on YouTube channels, which if vidIQ hadn't said anything about it, I wouldn't know anything about it. But two
Mm.
completely independent YouTube channel creators can collaborate
Hmm.
and they go live. It goes live to both audiences
Mm.
simultaneously. Or if they do content together, it goes out to both. So if somebody's got 1,000 subscribers and somebody else has got 2,000, well, it
Hmm.
gets pumped out to 3,000 people. So
Hmm.
vidIQ did some initial testing and they said just like anything that YouTube rolls out new, they give a lot of attention to it. So right now when people do use that collaboration, they
Hmm.
get quite a lot of subscribers, they're getting a lot of views because YouTube, since it's a new feature, they're encouraging people to do it.
Hmm.
Um, Let me see that. Oh,
Yeah.
and the other thing,
Hmm.
and I'm sorry to interrupt, but Jack,
No.
you were talking about cooking,
Hmm.
and I was saying maybe you heard me before you came on. I was saying that because the economy is down, there's been
Hmm.
some really big news articles that people aren't eating out in restaurants, and I mean
Right.
it's a massive recent trend. I mean it's the going out to eat, it's crashing, so people are eating at home, which is kind of pandemic behavior, right? So
Hmm.
what did everybody do? They started studying how to cook because a lot of people don't, let's face it, Jack, a lot of people don't know how to cook.
They
And
don't.
now it's getting too expensive to eat in restaurants, so people are going to
Hmm.
have to learn how to cook. So if you have any passion for that, another point of this video is I was saying opportunity in a down market. And I think there's going to be a new wave. Mark my words, you're hearing it here first,
Hmm.
folks, on YouTube Live.
Hmm.
I think there's going to be a whole new era of home cooks arising from this because
Hmm.
look at Coupon Mom. She blew
Hmm.
up when the housing crisis. When did Groupon explode? During the
Hmm.
house. So we talk about the negativity of all these bad things happening, but up economies bring opportunities. Down
Hmm.
economies bring opportunities. Static economies bring
Well, you
opportunities.
just have to be really, really creative with your thinking and don't be afraid of anything. So, like with me, I have film groups. I have over close to 300 film groups on Facebook, right? And one of the things before the pandemic, I think it was 2016, I went on Facebook Live and you could take there was a globe and you could go all around the globe, right? Anywhere you want, and you see little red dots. And every time you rolled your mouse over it, there was a live feed popping right up there. So I went and made film groups in every country, in every country, all of Africa. I mean, I've got 80,000 members. And
Oh,
so I just all of South America, Canada, Alaska, Japan, anywhere, Russia, all over Europe. And so I get them daily. I have to check them daily. I have to make sure they're filmmakers, though. And so now, if I want a video from Egypt, my my friends in Egypt, right, will make me. So I make a video here, right, and I send them the demo video. They play it on their cell phone or tablet. They have to film it, and then they have to send it back to me. Okay, so it's a live shot of my own commercial in Egypt with the pyramids there and everything, Great Wall of China, Eiffel Tower, but it's still my video that they're playing on a live feed, right? And I get that back, but I have to give them something back. So I got to do the same thing for them on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, uh, any observatories or wherever it is that looks American. And they said they'd trade.
Yeah,
So
it's video bartering. That's brilliant.
yeah, it's just trading, and I don't have to fly to Egypt to get it. I
A
don't have to
lot
fly to
cheaper,
Great
man.
Wall of China. No, no. So that's the whole thing. So then what happens? I could take anybody that I want, any restaurant, any business, and say, I can take your video that we make here and send you to Egypt with the pyramids there, and or South Africa, or in Ireland, with all the Irish out there. They're all out there with the Irish whiskey, right? So just get them all on board, and okay, get me some potatoes in there. Put some potatoes, get those Dublin walls up there, you know, and so then somebody's going to want to do that. Somebody's going to want to say, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind." So that's a little extra service. They have to pay for that, but I have to pay, I have to get, because I'm making something, I'm going to give that person something. So at least I get better video, good video, whatever, better locations, anything like that. And so I'm willing to do that. I want to do that because now there's power in that whole global experience where I can get something from Russia or Siberia or wherever it is, anywhere. Um, and
And
trade
Jack,
that way. But it's a huge undertaking, plus all those movies. But I already set up the foundation for filmmakers so that I get free film distribution globally. I don't have to use anybody else. I am my own distributor for the film. And I said, well, I'm going to be making money because I'm going to get sponsorships to be in it. But so even though you are there, right? Even though you're there, I would suggest this. I would say, hey, if you got a nice bass you're going to cook up and all that, but you want to throw in your brand into the film, right? So we just do what we're doing right now, and we capture it, and we put it. You give you a 30-second spot in there, and go, who's that? Don't worry about that part. He's cooking up some fish. Scallops, right? So then I got people in Thailand, because we're South Korea. I got them everywhere, and they all want to collab like that. And they'll cook something up, or they have a brand, and so we can share it in the film itself. And it's a real brand. They can actually contact you for information, whatever. Plug your LinkedIn, your YouTube, your website, anything.
well,
And
speaking of that, oh, I'm sorry, go
huh?
ahead.
No,
I
no,
was gonna
it's
say,
just huge. It's a huge, huge. But I'm only one guy. But you got to have ideas. You got to have some kind of idea to how to make this work. But I think I could do it.
well, you've
Yeah.
got the connections for sure. Usually, what I do at the end of the interview style podcast that I do, which
Hmm.
basically this has turned in, and I turned into, and I appreciate you coming on. So, Jack, give us just a short synopsis of where people can find you, because I met you on LinkedIn, but where would you like people to look for you?
Well, no, just on the YouTube channel, we just share links. I see, because I predict my prediction is .coms will go away. They'll be
Hmm.
delete AI will delete all that stuff because nobody's going to surf websites that are not updated constantly. They go to social media. That will happen in 5 to 10 years. For some companies, and so you just like, where am I? I'm on Instagram, and that kind of thing. You just have to have a decent brand that's socially acceptable because they're already logged into that, and so now you have all their info. But on a website, you have no idea who visited it.
That's true. That's true. Well,
You have no clue.
and I don't know if he's still on the chat with us, but we've got author Mike Dry on here who wrote a great book about baseball for kids. And
Mm,
I was telling him that, for me as an author, first time author, and then now I'm working on my follow-up book. But the two things that I'm after are, obviously I want to sell more books, but number two, I want to get those email addresses, because
mm-hmm.
like what you're alluding to, if you don't have a way to contact people, like if somebody buys a book on Amazon, I don't know who bought that book on Amazon. It's
No,
similar to the dead website that you're talking about. I have no connection with that customer. I would
no.
rather sell the book myself or give the first book away, right, in exchange for their email address so that I can then sell them the second
Mm-hmm.
book, because we talk about the traffic you don't own. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't technically own my channel. LinkedIn could kick me off at any reason for
Yep.
saying the wrong thing.
Yep.
Um, it's critical that I get some type of funnel, which my website is, but I need to drive more traffic towards it so that I
Well,
can.
I always recommend get at least two or three of a similar channel. So even though you have this one with LinkedIn, YouTube, have similar ones that you can fall back in on, right?
Okay.
So now you have a book, right? You have one or two?
I have one out there on YouTube, excuse me, one
Okay.
out there on Amazon. It's Kindle softback hardcover. I even narrated the audiobook.
Yeah,
I
I've
went
shared it.
overboard.
I've
Thank you
shared it.
so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
so no, every time I see your brand pop up, I share it because it just needs to be more eyes on it, right? But
That's
if
right.
you have a paperback, right?
That's correct. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So you can turn that book into a video book.
Oh, I didn't even think about that because I did the audio, but I didn't think
The
about
the
like
video
the
book, so
film version.
they take the book, they read it, and it says a little YouTube logo or whatever that is that you come up with, Instagram, YouTube, right? Maybe those two in color. And so even though it's a black and white book with no pictures, let's pretend, see, scan that page and you give them the essence of what it is you're trying to get them to take away from it or what they're going to read. So they scan each, every other page, every chapter, whatever that is. And because I have friends that are authors. So I told them that and they were like, I didn't know you could do that. I said, look, who do you think you're talking to? I could do
Right.
anything. So I said, well, yeah, they said a video book. I go, yeah. So you have text, right? But they scan the code and then boom, you pop up. Hey, glad you connected here. Now you get to see a view. Oh, somebody shared the video book because they'd never seen it before, right? So now you see views. You're like, wait a minute, where are these views coming? Oh, it's coming from the book.
That makes a lot of sense because even
Yes.
my discussion with my chatbot, ChatGPT 5.1, which I call
Yeah.
Eva, she said that I should have a separate, not necessarily a separate website, but I think she suggested that I have a separate YouTube channel just for the
hmm
book. And
Yeah, absolutely. Just for the book and the culture of it, because it's going to be much bigger than you think it is down the road as you continue to do your steps, right?
absolutely,
Um, and so I just know all I know is that I'm not anybody special, but I'm a key master. I can open up almost any door. That's what I do. I can talk to people and open up any door I want to with almost anybody. And they're like, how did you? And I go, well, it's not me. It's just what I'm saying and what's good for them. I'm not trying to get anything out of it. What's his Grant Cardone? You know Grant Cardone? You ever heard of
yeah,
him?
yeah.
Okay.
I
So there's
can't turn on the internet without seeing that guy.
Yeah, Grant Cardone, that boy, that big boy.
Yeah, that
So
guy,
he's
yeah.
on a Facebook live call, right? 80,000 people. So I start texting him a couple of things, but at the right time. Then what does he do? I screen capture the whole thing with the audio, the video, everything. And he's saying, here's a good cat to follow, right? And it's in part of my demo reel. So I wanted to use just that. That's all I wanted was that. So then
Uh,
he endorses me and to ask everybody to friend me, which they do. Like, and all my sales buddies and all the different floors are like, they were all on the call and they were like, how did you? I said, it's not me. It's the timing and what I said. What I said edified him. So I'm not here to edify myself. I'm here to edify him. And go, hey,
I'm
your stuff works.
I'm surprised when brands I tagged a bunch of brands just because I was talking about them.
hmm
I think vidIQ has commented on my stuff. I think the people from Calendly even because I'm a big fan of Calendly. I do punch up sometimes. I am a critic. I do, I have said some things that I might regret later about big companies. I don't punch
Mm.
down, I'm not gonna get on here and talk about, my neighbor. I'm not gonna
No,
use it
no,
to
no.
air dirty laundry. But big companies, if I think they're not doing something right, like I trashed Kroger earlier a little bit because they're going to leave us all without any deliveries here in this area. So
Mm,
they can't figure
mm.
out how to, and they've been servicing this area for 3 years and they're going to cut it off. But
Oh no.
Mike
You
in the
can't
comments,
do Amazon? Amazon won't drop ship to you or nothing?
well, they will, but this is regular groceries. So we're 40
Okay.
minutes from the closest grocery store. So Kroger has been doing door-to-door deliveries, and we've been
Oh,
very happy with the service. It's been
yeah.
great. The people are great, but I had to ask ChatGPT today what's going on, and they're
Mm,
closing 3 fulfillment centers, and they're going to turn it over to Instacart and whatever those
mm.
other services are. But those other two services, they're not bringing big giant refrigerated vans like Kroger. So I think our zip code, they're going to lose 250 customers out here.
Oh
But
no.
I did want to mention, Jack, that in the chat, Mike Dry, who's if you I don't know if you can see the comments on YouTube or not, he's listed as the Mississippi King and the
Oh.
Tigray Queen. He said I need to do a video book because again his book is for kids
Mm-hmm.
and it's got a lot of historical information about baseball. It's almost geared for an older kid can read it on their own and enjoy it. There's a lot of stories and there's a lot of moral lessons in there too. So
Well,
it's got
the other
value.
half with for him is that you contact Rawlings, and whoever else makes baseballs or mitts or cleats, and say, "I'm doing a video book. It's the first of its kind, and it's for kids. And would you like to be a part of it? And if you'd give me some, if this is the book, and if you have any donations, I will give it to the kids, and we'll film it. Then that way it goes into the book or however it goes." And it's just part of a giveaway. Once you do the giveaways, people start sharing your channel more often because it's just you get the free stuff, you got to give it away. That's
That's right.
basic.
That's
Yeah,
just like a
basically that's
like a lead
huh?
magnet, Jack. Just like a lead magnet, Jack. I
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
all it is. That's all it is because I did, like I said, I've done hardcore door to door cold calling, and my favorite customers are the angry ones because they're passionate. And once they discover that you're not a bad dog, that you're a good doggy, that they will be your loudest supporters. And it's like, welcome aboard, buddy. You know,
That's
I used
I
to be
w-
a waiter, right? And I would carry, because everybody, it's Sizzler, right? It's non-tipping restaurant. I'd carry a parakeet mirror in my wallet because it's not, there's no glass in it, but you could see the reflection. I go to the table, it's either the mom or the dad, and somebody's angry. You could see them gripping somebody's hand under the table and gritting their teeth, and I can't wait to take you outside and all that stuff, you know, right? And I'm like, oh, there's the bad egg right there. There's the angry one. They like to fight. They must be Italian. Hey, are you guys Italian? Right? So I go over there and I said, hey, something came in for corporate for you. And they look at me and they go, corporate for me? I go, yes, you. Now I've just stopped any anger, any kind of, bad feelings or animosity there. And I pull out my wallet and I open it up and I palm that little parakeet mirror. And I don't show anybody else. I just show them the mirror. And as soon as they look at the mirror, they look directly at me every single time. It never fails. Right. And then as soon as they look at me, what do I say? Who's a good boy? Who's a good girl? Done. Argument over. Everybody at the table laughs. Everybody's done. They're laughing. They're all in stitches now. And I was like, all right, all right, all right. Everybody calm down. We'll start pulling your teeth here in a minute, because we got the laughing gas out, right? So like, oh no.
I
Now
remember.
the evening is saved. It's saved. And so now they like that. And so I just built upon that all the time. One day I brought in an eye patch and I would just wear the eye patch. What happened to your eye? Oh, don't say anything. I go, oh, shark attack, spider bite, scorpion fight, whatever I came up with, right? And then at the end of the night, when I give them mints and toothpicks, I switch it to the other side because I always, oh, it's my left side, my left side. I'd serve the whole evening like that just to punk them, just so that when I switched it over, the mom or the kid or somebody would go, didn't you have the eye patch on the? Oh, everybody be
That,
quiet. Don't offend him. And then I would flip it up and I go, just kidding. Done.
that's hilarious. We
Done.
had a magic time machine in San Antonio where people came as characters, and then Dick's Last Resort, which is famous for the waiters and waitresses being notoriously hard on the customer, like it's the
Yeah.
opposite service. But yeah, people pay for that level of entertainment, especially now. So like exactly like what you said, in this economy,
Yeah.
a restaurant could survive, Jack, if they
Yeah.
provide, because just providing food, like even out here in the country, in the middle of nowhere,
Mhm.
in a relatively cheap area of Florida, it's still $25 a head to eat. And that was $15.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that was $15 maybe when I first moved here 3 or 4 years ago. That's how bad it's gotten even out here in the country in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
Get a meal for 15, it's gone up $10 in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But if I knew I was going to get a show, if I knew I was going to laugh, if I was going to have an entertainment experience. Because look, in the old days, we go to what a dinner and a movie, dinner and a movie.
Hmm.
Well, people don't do that anymore. They can only afford one or the other. But if you go to a restaurant and have an entertainment experience, now that's a restaurant that people would
Oh
patronize.
yeah, absolutely. Or some kind of entertainment value. So that's one of my other movies that I'm going to be making. Is remember in the 80s and the 70s when there would be a movie playing and there would be a line wrapped around the building. You remember that?
Yeah, I
And
remember the premiere for the first Batman movie. It was
yeah,
crazy.
and
People were
you go in there and you smell that stale popcorn, the cigarette butts, remember all the
yeah.
candy, the soda, right? I want to do that and just have people reminisce so it's like a movie festival where everybody reminisces about that before it all goes away because this since the 90s until now that hasn't been been a thing. Nobody really knows what that used to look like.
Sure. I grew up down the street from I'm from a rural area outside of
Hmm.
big city of Louisville, Kentucky. But as you know, drive-in theaters
Hmm.
were always out in the country because you had no street lights to compete
Hmm.
with the light of the screen. So I was literally down. So at night, I could put my ear to the screen window. I could hear the movie, and if I could, with parents' permission, get on top of the house, I could
Oh
see
wow.
about a third of the screen from where we were.
Mm.
And my era, it was Jaws and E.T.
Yeah.
It was really great. And the movie that really blew me away was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Hmm.
I mean, visually, the soundtrack, it was so immersive. And I saw that as a drive-in movie. You can't tell somebody now who's 15, 16, 20 years old to explain what a big budget blockbuster is like at a drive-in film. You can't put it into words
We have a
what that
couple out here still. We still have a couple
oh,
left. And they're swap meets by the day, but they're drive-in theaters at night. And they even have a Jaws theater, but it's you get into inner tube and you go out to the beach and it's everybody's in the water and it's at night.
Wait it. That's funny.
It's
Oh
there.
no.
It's
In the
free. It's
water
right.
watching Jaws.
Yeah, it's all dark water too. So if you have a phobia of being in dark water, which I used to, the guy, the screenwriter Scott Calebi, I was supposed to meet him at one of those events, but I think it was just before COVID and stuff like that. Because if you know publicists, you can get in your foot in the door,
That's
right?
true.
So that would be my thing. But the movie experience is missing, and I want to showcase that through a film festival, and everybody brings their films, and that we just show maybe 15, 20 minutes of their film, just kind of like a teaser. Then we move on to the next film and the next director, and they're all independent directors. And look, because of who you are and where you're at geographically, you could still get in on that because I could just do a live event and film it and go, hey, there's my buddy. He's from LinkedIn. He's online right now. Hey, you guys want to say hi? That kind of thing. And then film that. And then now you have something to like showcase and go, hey, it was only a minute, 30 seconds or 60 seconds, but it's enough to throw in your podcast. It's enough to go, hey, we just collabed. And that's the name of the game. If you can do it quicker and faster than most people, it doesn't have to be unique. So my thing was that SEO is dead, in my opinion,
I
because if
agree.
I can go pay for sponsored ads on Google, why the hell do I need to have SEO? I just
Right.
pay for it. I'll pay for the
It's
4 spots on the top, you
and
know,
what's the other thing? It's the chat AI.
the
It's
chat
not S.
GPT
Well,
thing.
it's the new SEO. It's SEO for AI. They call it
Oh, there's a
it
jillion
has
of them now.
it has a different acronym, but basically instead of doing SEO, search engine
Yep.
optimization to get people to your website, now people are gaming the, I guess, the back end of their websites to make sure that ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok suggest your website. And
Mm,
and that's completely different from SEO. It has different requirements. It's a
hmm.
different, and I
Yeah,
don't
the
know that.
algorithms are different. But see,
So
the thing is, if that's why I said it's, I've been online when 96 96, 97 when you had to pay to go to websites. And so I was number one, and then I became number three on Google. There was only 3 pages, and I happened to be one of them. At the time when they came out in 99 or 98 or something like that. And I said, well, the whole key is if you're Ferrari, Porsche, Lexus, Mercedes, whatever, they don't need SEO.
Right.
They are the one. So
That's right.
you have to a person has to think of their brand as being the one. Become Neo of the Matrix. You got to be the one that can crack the code and sit there and go, well, I'm number one. And what is it? Well, it's something that's so invaluable that people have to share it. That's really all it is. And so people love showing off their Lexus, Ferrari, whatever they have, McLarens, all that stuff. You don't need to, there's no other choices to make but that. So become that, totally indispensable, that it's a no-brainer, and so that it's so simple that people go, oh, I just didn't even think of it like, yeah, it's the philosophy, you know. That's why I said, well, I could write a book on how to get into, I can get through any gatekeeper I want. And how do I do it? I make a video of their company. I show the gatekeeper. They go, can you get Bob down here, please?
I love
That's it.
that. Well, you're in an area that really fosters, appreciates, and encourages that, and I love that
Yeah.
because I don't think a lot of people. You have a very efficient and effective way of hustling that I don't think a lot of people will do. Well, I'll let that be the last word, Jack. Thanks for
Sure,
jumping in.
sure.
If anybody has any final questions on the chat, they can get it in. I'll answer questions for a few minutes,
Yeah.
even.
Yeah, I'll keep sharing your stuff when I see you there. I thought I just happened to see you there. I was like, yeah, all right. Let me bite on this Zoom call. Let's see what happens. What's the
Now
worst
you
that
know
could
I'm real.
happen? You know. But anytime you have a issue, a question for me as well, only because I got a fair amount of experience, but I don't film to get subscribers. I film for the individual business themselves.
I see. Okay.
So like for you and your book, which I haven't read it, but I would go on location. So like different locations, make sure you have good audio, good lighting. But if there's a certain place that has some meaning to you in your mind or whatever, you go, this park bench was where I came up with the da 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 da. And then, you just what you do is it has some meaning and it's not just a background. So like when I went, just a really quick, when I went to Paramount, I got in there and I had filmed myself going in there. So I film executives because they want to talk, right? Because they don't normally get on camera. So I put the green screen right behind them, and whatever they say, any word it doesn't matter what subject they talk about, it pops up right behind them. So the word and because people are visual, auditory, kinesthetic.
That's
So they got
right.
to touch, see, hear. So if I do the green screen, I make sure whatever they're saying goes right on that screen right behind him. And so they go, it was so easy to watch that. I said, of course. And so then they call me right back. It's like, yeah, he does a great job because I'm trying to get in the back door of the brain, you know, to make sure they understand I'm a visual salesman, but I just paint the picture of what they could possibly need or want or like. And I'm not really, I try to get my foot in the door and then make sure that I'm not crazy bad. I have no criminal record, so I'm not crazy, corny, cheesy, campy. I'm none of that stuff. I talk fast, I think fast, and I'm like trying to connect the dots for them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, hey," and it's L.A., it's San Diego, Palm Springs. Those are the three major areas that you have to be very aggressive with without seeming aggressive. This is kind of like you're like radiating. It's more like that. You're just radiating brighter, you know, with the people. And then they'll remember you because all my equipment is so huge that it's a full-blown movie set. There's like, how do they forget? They don't, because it's just too much. And that's the other thing I do is I make it big because that's in sales. You have to make it many or really, really big. Those are the two main things that stick with any person is it has to be many, many millions of them, or it has to be so huge that people go, oh my God, what is this? That they won't forget it.
The
They
best
won't.
advice I ever got was a Greek body shop owner in Brooklyn.
Hmm.
He he was the descendant of a big Greek family that owned all the restaurants in the Brooklyn, excuse me, all the grocery stores in the
Oh,
Brooklyn
wow.
area, particular period. And then they moved over into body shops when the big chain grocery stores started to move in. But what he said to me, which riffs on things I've heard elsewhere, but he
Hmm.
says you've got to go big, go gourmet, or go
Hmm.
home. In other words, be Apple, be the Ferrari of telephones,
Hmm.
or or be Walmart. So
Hmm.
you're going to be kind of commoditized, or be specialized. But I appreciate the conversation, Jack. I'm
Yes,
going to call it a night. I appreciate you jumping
sure,
in with
sure.
us. If anybody has any questions, just put it in the YouTube.
Hmm.
Hopefully, everybody watching will subscribe and click on like,
But
and we
they
keep
don't
on
just
doing
have questions. We got to dangle something. The top 100 comments gets a prize.
it. That's right.
See,
That's
there you
right.
go. That's how you do it. You just sneak that in there, and they're like, a prize? What kind of prize?
That's right.
Well, that's for a later date.
That's right. When the new so second edition of Centella, the book that I wrote, I'm about a month away from producing the second edition. I'm
Hmm.
actually doing the cover art for this second edition, and the only thing that's holding it up is the cover, and I've got to finish the audio version. The book is done, so it's really ready
Hmm.
for EP publication, and I'll be giving a bunch of those away. That'll
Hmm.
be a nice enticement. But I appreciate your time, Jack. Have a good
All
night.
righty.
Thanks for jumping in on us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, pleasure talking with you. I'll see you on LinkedIn.